The Acolyte 3 starts with abandoning completely where we were in the last episode and dedicates itself to one large episode-length flashback where everything that there is left open as some kind of mystery is explained to the bones. It's 16 years earlier and we see what we somehow already knew. May started a fire, killed everyone, Osha watched it, and May seemed to have died. Okay, they flesh out the details, but it's not like I don't know anymore who told the truth. Is May right? Is Osha right? Are the Jedi guilty of a murder? No, it was like it was told. And this is, to be fair, right away disappointing, cause I really hope that there were darker moments to this whole thing so that May's motivation is not that simple to understand. I would have liked the audience to understand her more so that there is a real conflict between the twin sisters. May just wants to stay where they are and Osha wants to see the world. They are not one heart and one soul, they are struggling constantly. The wish to stay together forever seems a little bit one-dimensional and not that motivated. As well, cause there are no children there and no one else that lives this kind of thing. It's exactly the opposite. The witches that form the group of people living on this planet in exile are a sisterhood of all kinds. So they do not need to have a twin. There is a ritual that introduces them. Then they are part of each other somehow. So the whole idea is quite the opposite. And they would not even need to oppress Osha into the ritual like they do, cause in the end, it doesn't matter. It could be May only, so what? But the Jedi are monitoring them as well, cause they look for young children to become a Padawan. And May and Osha are on their minds. But then they do not simply go there, like everyone else would. No, they wait until night falls and the witches start their sacred ritual. Here they dance a little and the chief witch mentions that it was not done all the years since their exile. And you see, that's what I mean with bad dialogue writing. Why mention this in just one phrase at that particular time? The connotation is we were all exiled together somehow, and that is why we could not do it. But the fact is that they could not do it because there were no children. And if they went all into exile at once, what I assume is not meant but implemented, I don't know, especially looking at the words of the ritual where they stress out that there could be only one of them or two. At that point, we already feel that they will dedicate the whole episode to the flashback, so taking the time for writing more sentences when needed or putting in another scene for world building would have been a possibility better than to hurry dialogues. And then May gets baptized and the Jedi occur in that very moment that Osha shall be initiated. But instead of finishing the ceremony like every other would do, especially to keep Osha in the sisterhood, they stop it. I mean, it's just 5 seconds. The Jedi are not even there all together, and by the way, they are stepping into their land and into their ritual, so just go for it. But they don't, and the Jedi want to make a test on the girls. Their duo of mothers talk to the girls and tell them to lie when talking to the Jedi. That fits somehow to their weird educational concepts, like when the twins who are fighting each other in every single scene are only told to hold hands and tell they love each other. That's the whole problem-solving strategy they have. Maybe it's the lack of other children, maybe it's just that they are not made for this job. It's just not a very promising approach, and we see all the time that it does not work. Never had and never will. Osha even says she does not want to be a witch, and then they do not think about putting the ritual onto another day, talk about it, whatever, not to risk the failure of it. You know, this ritual that has not been done since their exile. No, they just keep to their plans, knowing that there is bad blood. And then the Acolyte borrows heart from Dune. And I mean the book, the first book to be precise. Here the Bene Gesserit, a sisterhood of witches, are optimizing their gene pool for one thing, and that is the birth of the Kwisatz Haderach, the promised Messiah. That's why they organize their marriages, and all the women are forbidden to give birth to a son. Only girls are allowed. Cause they want to have the best genes and the most control over the Messiah that is about to come. In the Acolyte, we have a sisterhood of witches that only give birth to daughters, and they even state that one carried the girls and the other witch created them. What is about to come of that, I don't know. It's simply more or less not enough for a series that has a budget of 180 millions. I mean, if the screenwriters got something of that money and it wasn't spent for team meetings in a VIP resort. I mean, what about original ideas and not ripping off other books? And as well, the writing here. When Mother 1 said she carried the baby, Mother 2 answered, but I created it. Well, that's a little bit like medieval times, when a woman was simply looked upon as being the container of the child and the man was the creator, cause everything important for giving birth would not be there without him. And I was a little bit shocked to hear this discussion in such circumstances, so in this sisterhood of equal sisters. But some may even be more equal than others there, or they don't really see themselves as sisters. Then the twins do the Ghostbusters psychic test, so not something clever, inventive, or whatever they could imagine with all that money. No, they take a paranormal test that was invented in maybe the 70s, I suppose, and that has been ridiculous even then, belittling the Force as some kind of foreteller nonsense and not the mystical power that we once thought it was. Osha passes it, cause she wants to leave, and May recognizes it. But then all wait until night falls again. It's not like May, who was shown as aggressive, would not run home and tell everyone, or at least argue that hard with her sister that everyone would realize it. No, they seem to go home in silence, wait for nighttime, and then talk to the witches about it. Why? Because it looks better in the night, for what is about to come. I mean, again, it's not like this would have to be done like this. It's what they wrote. They decided it. It could have been anytime, anywhere. There could have been a scene in between, whatever. But again, they go for a solution that just is not logical in itself. I mean, May, as a character, would never wait until the night, and the others would see they're struggling. It's simply not working in their own merits. Then the witches meet to talk. May says Osha mustn't leave. She wants to kill her instead and burns the house. Out of whatever reasons of the loss of stupidity and convenience, the witches built assumingly their depot of gas, gasoline or whatever, not only around their council room, but also without any protection, so that it immediately blows up in such a hard way that it kills everyone. And now, we know it all. Besides the murder mystery that was solved in episode 1, the second mystery of how did all really happen in the past is gone now, and there are 5 episodes to come with no real plot or mystery at all left. Why did they dedicate a whole episode to the flashback sequence, revealing everything, destroying any suspense that was left? And then, with those easy answers, not giving May a more divided meaning, but simply making a stupid, aggressive idiot out of her. If she was not guilty all alone, there would have been a struggle between the twins. How about Osha or the Jedi were guilty in a way, maybe just because out of the will to do something good, but something terrible got out of it? I mean, I think this is the idea behind that, at least I hope so, but that is not the outcome. It's that May is more or less guilty of everything, and her blaming Osha or the Jedi makes no real sense. This gives the suicide of the floating Jedi in episode 2 a strange taste, like why does he take the poison she offers him? She who is to blame for everything alone. I mean, without the fire, everyone would have lived, and May did it in full knowledge that she will kill at least her sister, maybe everyone. But even if it were like that, why did they not go on with the episodes like before? Put in the flashbacks instead of breaking the arc of suspense that was left and destroy the rest of the mystery? Wouldn't it have been much better to let some pass unexplained until maybe the ending to get people involved in that plot? Just like in that classical western Once Upon a Time in the West, where we see the past, the motivation for the character that wants to take revenge only in flashbacks. mostly blurred so hard that one hardly sees what's going on, clearing them, playing them out more and more over the time of the movie so that only in the last scene we realize what was going on once. And that, besides, without any words in those scenes, only the wonderful music of Maestro Ennio Morricone. So it seems like some should watch more classical Western. Maybe this would help somehow. And now, what I liked. I think the twin sisters actors did a good job giving their characters personality so that you could really tell in every scene which one is whom, even when they are not talking. Was the episode any good then? Well, to be honest, you could leave it out and the series would be going on like before and even without any misunderstanding. And that is not a clever thing. If something could be left out, well, why put it in? I really think it would have been better to go on normally and use the flashbacks as a mystery to keep people watching, cause not everything is solved completely. So, will the Acolyte be able to get the audience invested further on? Will they manage to create suspense when they told everything up till now, or will it just go on with hunting down the two left Jedi and trying to prevent this? Stay tuned for the next episode here and the rest that is about